If your Aprilaire 700 or 600 humidifier is more than 5 years old, it's probably time to replace the distribution tube on it. This will cause the humidifier to actually use more water than it needs to and potentially create leaks. It's a pretty easy repair. You just have to have some small wrenches in order to undo the ferrule that's attaching to the solenoid valve underneath. Once that's out of place, you can then disconnect the little piece at the top here. Has a little clip on it. It's the part that sprays the water down into the filter. You just pop that out and then the whole thing will slide out of the humidifier, and then you can slide your new one back in place. The kit will come with a new ferrule nut and ferrule ring, and you need to sort of orient the distribution part before putting it in there. It'll just make it a little easier to clip it on at the top. And a little trick when you're trying to put this nut on, you want to make sure that you put the fat end of the plastic towards the ferrule nut, and the skinny end is going to go into the solenoid valve. Otherwise you're going to have a leak. It's not going to work, and it's going to take some fiddling to get this thing to thread in place. If you put a little pressure down on the plastic hose, you can kind of get the hose to go in a little more straight temporarily while you thread it in. And then you want to snug everything up with 2 wrenches. You can do it a little bit like I'm doing by hand, and then once it starts moving the solenoid valve, you need to back it up with a second wrench. Otherwise you're going to risk breaking the plastic on the humidifier or the screws that mount the solenoid to it. And you don't need to go super tight here. Everything's plastic, and you can always tighten a little bit more when you're done. After that's all connected, then you just feed your distribution tube up to the top, put the clip into the little hole here where it sprays down into the filter. And this is also a great time to just go ahead and change the filter on it. They should be changed annually. You want to make sure that you have the spray paint facing up. Otherwise you will have a leak. And if you got a bunch of sediment and debris build up into it, just go ahead and rinse that out into a mop sink or wipe it out with a rag. And then you can take your old filter and put it in the new filters box and put your new filter into the tray. And there's 2 little clips on the top of this thing that you need to secure. Otherwise, again, you will have a leak or something won't fit correctly when you go to put it up in the humidifier. These trays can also be rinsed out in the sink if they have a lot of stuff on them. This one wasn't so bad. Again, if you have debris on the bottom there, just get a wet rag or a Clorox wipe if it's moldy and clean it up before you put your new filter back in place. And there is a right way and a wrong way to put these filters in. There is a little slot here that is supposed to protect the hose from getting hit when you put the filter in. And you need to make sure that the drain gets all the way seated inside of the hole, or what will happen, repeat after me, you'll have a leak. Here's a little trick if you want to make sure that that filter is going to be secure. If your installation was a little off and you have a little back grate on the filter, you can take some piece of cardboard from the filter box and jam it in on the side here where you see that there's a little I don't know, it's a little piece of plastic that sticks out there, and that's going to give you a really snug fit. And when you're putting your humidifier cover back on, there's 2 little hooks that hinge at the top, and then on the bottom there's a little clip, and you need to make sure that you hear it like audibly secure in there. Otherwise the humidifier won't engage the circuit board and it won't turn on. After you're done, run the humidifier for 15 minutes and watch it. Make sure you don't have any leaks. Be sure to smash the follow button, the subscribe button, and leave me a comment if you have any questions about humidity or installation or service of a humidifier.